Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you're watching this, we're so glad that you're joining us today to talk about audience sentiment and how it can shape your marketing materials. My name is Lyndon Pichette, and in the next 10 minutes or so, we'll explore the invaluable insights offered by Carnegie's message assessment workshops. Sentiment matters, a sentiment being the way people think or feel about a particular thing. And in our case at Carnegie, we're concerned about knowing how students and other audiences feel about our clients and the way they're trying to draw people to themselves. That feeling, that sentiment is a connection they can make with the target audience. And at Carnegie, we're committed to helping our clients make the most effective and human connection possible. But honestly, these days, no one seems to have time to think about sentiment on a regular basis, especially during major planning periods when you're overhauling an entire suite of publications or a website or an email campaign. There are so many details and moving parts that what unfortunately gets left by the wayside is gathering insights, opinions, and perspectives from the target audience. And when that happens, it can lead to ineffective marketing materials, boring images, or images that just don't resonate. And if you can't make an impact and a meaningful impression on your audience right away, you may never get another chance, because this is what you're up against. It's busy, it's loud, it's distracting, and it's not just other colleges. It's so many different organizations, industries, and entities that are competing for your target audience's time and attention. As I'm sure you're aware, increasingly so, we're not trying to compete college to college. These days, we're competing against no college at all. Students are more and more opting to not enter any college or university. So, to meet enrollment goals and then manage all the downstream effects that has if we do or if we don't, we must find a way to speak to our audiences so they listen and act. But how do you do that? How do you capture sentiment in a way that's efficient, but also useful? Something that gives you tangible next steps, not just a bunch of random insights from the two students that showed up to your focus group. That is where message assessment comes into play. Carnegie's message assessment workshops are interactive settings in which we're able to engage members of your target audience in discussion about your current marketing materials. It offers a quick turnaround along with rich insights through the use of high energy engaging workshops. Participants interact with your materials, your images, your copy, your logos, your videos, even GIFs. We can test a lot of different things. And ultimately, we come away with a deep understanding of what your audience finds attractive, what's authentic to your institution, which we know matters very much, especially to our prospective students these days, and what's clear or what doesn't make sense that we need to clarify. Lastly, we identify areas where differentiation is lacking, where images or messages are generic. And using insights gleaned from these workshops, we provide concrete recommendations for next steps. This is really the perfect solution when you're about to refresh content for the upcoming cycle, or perhaps when you're about to launch a new campaign and you already have some of the materials that you're ready to test. Maybe you want to know how the whole campaign will do. Or maybe you haven't updated your materials in a few years and you aren't quite sure where to begin because the styles and all the images are fresh out of the early 2000s. But really, it doesn't have to stop there. This is a versatile setting in which we have flexibility to assess what matters most to you. So I'd encourage you to reach out to us and see if your idea will work. Chances are we can make it happen. As I mentioned too, this can be done quickly. First, you help us identify what you want to assess. Is it a new campaign? Or is it old materials? Whatever it is, we can work with you to narrow down a sampling of images, copy, and supporting materials that the audience will be able to interact with. Then when thinking about your audience and your workshop participants, we can either work directly with your target audience or with an audience akin to that target. So for example, if your target audience is prospective students, we can work with first-year students. We help you solidify all of those details and prep for the workshops that'll take place on your campus. Then once workshops have taken place, it's just 4 to 6 weeks until we're able to meet with you again to share the findings and recommendations. Again, these will be tangible next steps, many of which you and your team can apply immediately. But we'll also evaluate and present any high-level themes that may affect more broad marketing efforts. So this service can have implications for the short, medium, and long term. Here is one example of the type of insight we may be able to get from these workshops. Students here were discussing the fact that based on what they read from Carnegie University's materials, they got the impression that community doesn't mean the same thing to the university as it does to them. To the students, it was important that an institution be committed to community as a connection between the university and the people that call that area home. Instead, they were left with the sense that the university really couldn't care less about the people and only wanted to take advantage of the location's amenities, and that was community. So the recommendation here is twofold. First, define and present community in a way that is more likely to resonate with students because it matters to them. It's not just about location. And second, make sure the examples you give are authentic, even if that means needing to build stronger connections and relationships over time. Another example is that Carnegie University needs to refresh its photo library, but it's not quite sure where to start. So, students in the workshops reacted to images that are currently part of the photo library to give an idea of what direction the university should take. What images are appealing or attractive? What images feel authentic? In this case, Carnegie University came away with the beginnings of a house style of photography. And here it was a comfy, casual, kind of lived in look that the students identified as appealing, authentic, and ultimately differentiated. Adding sentiment back into your planning process is essential, and we're here to help. This is how you can reach us when you're ready to get started. I really appreciate your time today, and I'm very excited to work with you in the future.